Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lama Rasaji, and this is our Monday edition of Rasaji Speaks. Well, I hope you had a great time shopping and getting ready for Christmas because today, Monday, is the 23rd and it is Christmas Eve's Eve. And I think the title today is very fitted, Guided by the Stars. See all the stars behind Mama G? The spiritual wisdom and the gifts of the three wise men. Don't forget now our early bird special for live streaming is up, and you should have had an email probably by now. And if not, you can go to the site and you can find it at the events. Okay, so real excited. Guided by the stars. There were two prophecies. There was a Hebrew prophecy and there was a Tai Chi Gung prophecy. And these gentlemen, they knew of both prophecy. They were extremely learned men and they were very much spiritually guided. And because the average one of them had about 10 years of training in Tai Chi Gung, Melchior was already 25 years a student and a master on his way to becoming a Lama. As a matter of fact, once he gets done for Master Jesus, then because of that task, he becomes Lama Melchior. So it's really exciting, really. But they were in the scoop from the very beginning. They were commanded to send envoys, half a dozen mercenary kind of ninjas like, the moment they knew that Mother Mary was pregnant. They had somebody watching her to make sure there was nothing that would happen, whether it was of Herod's people or whether it was of Pilate's people, that nothing would happen, right? Rome already had its clinches into Judea big time. And Herod was really full of himself, and he saw himself as this phenomenal king that partied, but he was definitely major political. Kind of like we saw in this country the last 4 years. I mean, he was driven to that point. They would have done anything to stay on the throne. Sound familiar? Anything to stay on the throne. Kill their own child if they had to. That's how obsessed and crazy they are. We're seeing a lot of that now in politics today. A lot of people being thrown under the bus. You start throwing presidents under the bus, man, oh man, you're willing to do anything. They are taking no prisoners and they're pointing fingers, how did you let happen what happened? These guys were walking, writing geometrical figures. One of them, a phenomenal astrologer. The other one had very strong insights of the Chinese zodiac, already influenced by the teachings of Tai Chi Gung, right? The other one was an intuitiveness, just channeling all the time things from the angelic kingdom. So you had an astrologist, Chinese zodiac expert, feng shui expert, and then you had an intuitive. So these three people were really spot on. Then they had the training of the Lamaseries prophecy and studied, and because learned men like to reach out and learn about other cultures, they also were very learned about the Hebrew prophecy. And it helped them foretold a great North Star that would be in the sky. And along with it, thousands and thousands of stars. that would reflect about an auspicious birth that was going to happen based out of the house of David. They knew the lineage, and they knew that Joseph was born in Bethlehem, Lasada, house of bread in Hebrew, right? Return the house of bread, the bread of life, to be born in the house of bread. You got to love that, right? So that's who they were and what they were going to do. Along the way, as the birth got closer, they moved in more men. And then when the time was right, they had people remaining in Judea. They had people traveling with Mary and Joseph. And then they were actually already there. This is what most people do not know. They were there actually before Joseph and Mary showed up in Bethlehem. They were already checking on the census. They had some of their people wrapped up in clothing that you couldn't tell who they were. They were questioning, asking questions. This is what gave them the insight. The moment that Jesus was born, he needed to go to Egypt. That's right. The area was getting way too hot and being in that line. So Joseph and Mary with the baby Jesus never stood in the line of the census. They actually smuggled them out of Bethlehem into Egypt till Jesus was about 4 years old. And at 4 years old, they made their way back to Nazareth. Once they got him safely to Nazarenes, Melchior had Belistar and Jasper returned to their places for their extra training to become masters and masterships. They would again hook up when Jesus was older and on his journeys to, you know, Syria, all the area of today that we would call Afghanistan, all that whole area, Iran, Iraq, that whole area, that is where they were. And they were caves built for meditation in those days. Ironically, it was out of these caves years later in the 12th and 13th century that Shamus of Tabriz, Jalad Rumi's master, and then 100 to 200 years later came the famous Guru Kabir, famous Kabir, and Nanak, which gave lineage to the mystical Sufis and the whirling dervishes, as we know. But a lot of your beautiful writings of Jalad Rumi poised up during this time period. All of that was laid by the foundation of what these guys would do with Jesus in his teenage years up until his middle 20s, when he would return to Judea to get ready for his public ministry. It's really interesting to understand how all this happened. I don't know how you're going to spend your time tomorrow, but it is a tradition in our family is to have pasta, and three or four of us get together and cook gravy. So we have different pots of different tasting gravy, Sicilian, Northern Italy. It's just really cool. We have marinara sauce. We have sausage sauce. We have meat sauce. We have all kind of different kind of sauces. Fresh grated Parmesan, Italian salad, homemade bread. We've always been celebrating an Italian Christmas Eve. We'll go to Mass early tomorrow afternoon, actually after high noon. Traditional Catholics start to really celebrate the Feast of the Nativity right after the split noon to midnight Mass that night. That whole 12 hours by traditional Catholics is celebrated, the Nativity. So Mita and Chen and me will go early to Mass right as that thing ticks into the celebration. And we'll be at a cathedral that was built in 1870 called the Immaculate Conception. That's right. That's where we'll be. And we'll be enjoying ourselves. And then Lama G gets to play Santa Claus to the three grandchildren, to my mom's great grandchildren. So we're really excited, going to read the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." It should be a real fun time. Got us a really good Santa Claus costumes with boots, even with jingle bells. And we're just going to have fun with the little kids and just watch their little faces. All of them are between about 3 and 5 years old. So it should be something special. I hope tomorrow that you celebrate in a way and in a traditional way that suits you. And you know what? If you don't have one, create one. Create a new tradition, right? And if your COC brothers and sisters are not far around and some of you don't have family to celebrate, go reach out to some of your COC people and celebrate. We did that in Thanksgiving this year, and that was a lot of fun. Well, I'm going to wish you all a Merry Christmas. This has been a exciting Advent season. I think the best ever. I think it means more the auspicious birth of the firstborn of the Holy Spirit. May the living Christ dwell within us all, mature in 2025 as we all arrive live in 2025. God be with us all. Emmanuel. Well, Baraka Bashai, may the blessings be to you and your glorious family. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Christmas Eve edition. God bless you all.